an interesting last 10 to 15 minutes with you and a Keel listener who is overseas.
Yes.
Who is in Europe. Now, we sort of, not going to use any names here for obvious reasons.
Right.
But
I'll read the message that he sent to me. He also sent it to our 2 U.S. senators. My wife and I reside in Haughton, Louisiana, and are currently in London on vacation. Out of respect for our government's leadership and the reports that were presented about the COVID-19 virus and traveling with my wife and I, we did not cancel our European vacation to London, Belgium, and Paris. We do not fear the virus, but we do fear being away from our 3 young children for 30 days until this travel ban is lifted. We are scheduled to fly back to Shreveport out of Paris, France, Tuesday, March 17th. I've not been able to reach our airline due to the fact now I've reached out to our travel advisor.
What was that last part?
I don't want to talk about the airline.
No, that was edited by you.
Yeah,
I just didn't want people to think that you had some kind of brain freeze.
It was problems with the airline's phone message system, whatever.
Okay.
I've reached out to our travel advisor, and they're quoting a one-way ticket out of London for $4,800.
Well, don't you already have tickets?
You're missing the point. London is not considered Europe. Accordingly, you could fly out of London and it's okay. We have already paid for this vacation, so we prefer not to have any stress added to our family budget. Please provide clarity to the President's proclamation issued on restricting travel from the EU. Will we have to rebook our return flight to fly out of London? Will we be able to fly out of Paris on Tuesday as scheduled? How do we qualify for the special circumstances the President mentioned in his address? You may reply, blah, blah, blah. Now, here's the interesting thing. He's looking for help. And so I texted my friends in Senator Bill Cassidy's office and said to them, we have a local couple stuck in the area in Europe and they need help. And they immediately answered me and asked for their name, information, their cell phone number, etc. And they wanted the senator's office said, are they trying to get out sooner? And I said, no, I think they just want to make sure they can get home and not have to be quarantined away from their children. And the senator's office responded immediately. I'll have our immigration person call them this morning. Can't make any promises about the quarantine. If it's a firm order, then it may be unavoidable for them, but we will call them this morning. I love how responsive our senators are, and Kennedy's people would have been the same, and they will handle it. I feel certain, and I've texted now with the Haughton couple, the gentleman.
Have you gotten a response from them? And they are they on the continent, or are they in the UK currently?
At the moment, they're in London. Yeah, they're in London, but part of their trip is to go to Paris, and they're spending probably the weekend in Paris, and then they were or Monday, Tuesday in Paris, and they're flying out of Paris. So they're probably headed to Belgium, then to Paris. And they were planning to fly out of Belgium.
Fly
out of Paris.
I paid, bluntly speaking, very little attention to the president's speech last night. I was just doing other stuff. So what did you say? Clarify for me and everyone that flying out of Great Britain does not, or the UK does not qualify as Europe? You just said that. How does it not?
It says, and I'm quoting from the White House, we will be suspending all travel from Europe except the United Kingdom for the next 30 days.
Gotcha.
The policy goes into effect Friday at midnight.
I would assume there are at this point no travel restrictions between Great Britain and France, or Great Britain and the continent, as it were.
Right. Now, it does add the travel restriction applies to foreign nationals who have been in 26 European countries with open border agreements in the last 14 days. Those exempt from these restrictions, such as U.S. citizens, will be directed to limited airports where screening can take place. So say you're flying from, I say they would go from Paris to, maybe they're going to JFK or Atlanta, perhaps Dallas. I don't know where they're...
Did I miss something? Are they flying home?
From Paris.
From Paris.
Right. Their flight is Tuesday from Paris. And I'm not sure, he didn't indicate what airport they were flying into, because I know you're not coming direct to Shreveport from Paris.
There's Orly and de Gaulle, so you're flying out of one of those two. In Paris, I mean.
No, I mean, which one are they coming to in the U.S.? Because it depends on, because now you're going to be limited to certain airports in the U.S. where they can do screening. But I would assume they can do screening at LaGuardia or Atlanta or DFW. I would assume those three biggies would have screening, and those would be my three options that they are flying into. I don't know.
I would think if your biggest inconvenience is you might have to rent a car to go from Dallas to Shreveport, you got off pretty good.
Yeah, but how long are you going to be stuck in health screening? That's their concern. They have 3 small children here in the Haughton area, and they're concerned about not having to be stuck in an airport screening process, for 2 weeks if necessary. And I assume if they test negative, they're released, but I don't know. It's the incubation period is 2 weeks. So
well, you'll test right away though.
Yeah, but you could come up with it a week later. It might sit there for 2 weeks.
If you have the virus, you will test for the virus, even though you may not be symptomatic.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So if they have been exposed and they don't have symptoms yet, they'll still know.
Well, but couldn't the test show positive a week later? But it might not show today?
No, if you've been exposed, if you're carrying the virus, the incubation is what, 2 weeks or something like that?
Right.
I don't know what the lag time between
how much time before a positive test could pop up?
Between the time
I don't know that.
There's a question to ask Dr. Martha when we get her on the phone in a couple of minutes.
So I'm glad that we were able to connect him. I tried to get the gentleman to come on the air with us, but he felt a little nervous about doing that. But he is listening in London this morning, I'm sure, with his wife, and we'll keep you in our prayers. We're wishing you safe return home, and I hope if there's anything else we can do to help you get home safely, we will do it.
Including babysitting by Aaron McCarty.
Yeah, go say hi to the Queen for me, by the way.
Wanted to pass that along. Aaron's babysitting service. The rate's incredible. And
you don't want me babysitting.
Kids can stay at her house. 1017